Okay, guys. I had a couple people, not a lot, but some people ask me about my health because I've mentioned in some comment sections various things that have happened to me over the years. So I'll just give you the rundown. If you care, great. If not, feel free to click stop. I mean, no big deal. But started in about 2004, I believe. I turned in the shower to get out, and I went to grab my towel. And just the twisting action of doing that, I broke my back. Great, right? I don't have some big manly story about, oh, I fell out of a plane and bounced off the ground and broke my spine. No, I broke it reaching for a towel. The wings, I don't know what they're really called, but on the vertebrae, on my L5, snagged onto S1. So when I twisted, they snapped off. At the time, I was relatively new at my job, and I just had a kid, and couldn't afford to take the time off of work to have anything done about it. I mean, I tried the simple things, just laying in bed, wearing a brace, physical therapy. But ultimately, I needed a fusion surgery, so I had to wait 3 years till 2007, and I had an L5 S1 fusion, and they went through my back and through my stomach, and they pulled the disc out, and they put in a bone graft from my hip and a bone graft from a dead guy, great there, and glued it all in, and then put some rods and some bolts in, and that was it. I did all the physical therapy, wearing the braces, I did everything they said, and it only made it worse. The pain was way worse. So, of course, they say, well, there's nothing more they can do. Go to a pain clinic. So, time went on, of course. I'm going to the pain clinic, trying to live life. Had another kid. And it made things hard between my wife and I. Now, but when I say my wife, I mean, I'm a very literal person. Very binary, A, B, true, false. My wife and I have been separated for 5 years, but we're technically still married, so I call her my wife, because technically she is my wife. Realistically, we are great friends. We were friends for 10 years before we got together. Then we were together for 10 years. So I still call her my wife. Really, she's just one of my best friends. Um, so I had the spine fusion. Time went on. It gets to, but I also, the same day that I broke my back, I got a kidney stone. At the time, I had no clue what those were. All I know is I heard they were really painful, and yes, they're painful. But I kept getting kidney stones, and after a while, I got frustrated with that. I kept having to have surgery to remove the kidney stones. I had 6 surgeries overall, and my body keeps making them. It doesn't matter what my diet is. I have the type of stones where my body doesn't process uric acid properly. So, as a result, it crystallizes in my kidneys and it forms like shards of glass with thousands of points all over it, and it tears me up every time they come out. Some cases they get so big they won't come out on their own. The biggest I've had is about the size of a bottle cap. Right now, as of to date, I've had about 500 kidney stones. But back to my rest of my system, in 2015, September, the last week of September 2015, it was close to my 36th birthday. I was just started feeling something weird. I wasn't feeling quite right. So I went out, sat with other people, just to be around people, just in case, because something was wrong. And within 15 minutes, I was on the floor. My whole left arm was dead. My chest was killing me really bad. I couldn't breathe right. I was pouring sweat. And turns out I was having a heart attack. Yeah. 35 years old, just shy of 36, and I'm having a heart attack. Now, most of my life wasn't perfectly healthy leading up to this stage, but I wasn't terribly obese or anything like that. I used to lift weights. I've studied martial arts. All these different things throughout my life. I worked on trucks, used to go off-roading all the time, used to go fishing all the time. And so it was a blow to the system. And so they go and they went through my right arm, up into the heart, through the arteries, and put a stent. And they LAD, the left anterior descending artery. It's called the Windowmaker. There's actually a documentary on Netflix about it. Great documentary. And saved my life, stopped the heart attack. So life goes on, and the problem is they wanted me on all these medications. Atorvastatin, lisinopril, carvedilol, Plavix, baby aspirin, all these things. And they kept telling me the Plavix and the baby aspirin were the most important because they thin your blood and it keeps the stent from clogging while your body calcifies and scar tissues over the stent. Because the stent is made of platinum. Yeah, nice expensive stuff. Problem is it's not perfectly smooth like your artery walls. So platelets stick to it. And more platelets stick to it, and it causes a clot, which blocks the artery again. So my initial heart attack was just cholesterol clogging the artery, 98%. The last 2% collapsed. So I couldn't afford the Plavix and all that, and at the time I didn't have insurance. So about 2.5 months later, boom, on the floor again. Second heart attack. 2 months after that, third heart attack. Nobody's helping me get insurance. I can't afford the medicines. The doctors are getting mad at me because it keeps clogging up again. They're like, look, you can't keep surviving this. Eventually your heart's just not going to be able to handle it. And the only thing I had going for me was the fact that I was not in great shape, but I wasn't in horrible shape, and my age. So by this stage, all 3 heart attacks were what they call non-STEMI. Now, I don't remember exactly what STEMI means, the acronym. Obviously, the MI part of it is myocardial infarction, which is a heart attack. But happens 4th time. This time, it's a STEMI. This is the ambulance are blaring the siren, lights going, you need to get to the hospital now. So I got to the hospital and they rushed me right into what they call the cath lab. They call it a catheterization when they go through your artery. And so they stopped the heart attack, but my heart did stop momentarily. And it restarted on its own, so that was okay. But still, nobody's helping me get the medicines. And now I'm up to heart attack 4. And this is all within a 8 to 10 month time frame. And I thought for sure I was going to drop dead. I really did. And finally I tell the doctors, look, I need help. So they start processing the paperwork, and our lovely government takes time. Guess what happens? 5th heart attack, 2.5 months later. Now we're at November of 16 now. Heart attack number 5, another STEMI. Rushed to the hospital, full lights blaring, and they rushed me into the room. And the doctors just cut my arm open to put the cath in to go up into my heart, and my heart stopped. This time it didn't want to restart. They did that really, really expensive, really, really technical procedure that sometimes saves people's lives. They punched me in the chest. It's called a cardiac thump. It actually has a technical name. Didn't work. So they put the paddles on me and shocked me. Now, it's not like you see on TV. They don't just shock you and you pop up and you get to run a marathon. They have to wait before they shock again. They can't just keep doing it. They'll burn your heart. So it took several shocks, quite a bit of time, before they finally got my heart restarted. And it was getting close to the time where he was going to call it. The doctor told me, they only do it for so long. And finally my heart started, and I had burns on my chest. They put one paddle here and one paddle on my side so that the current would flow through the heart. And I had a big burn from the paddles. And I felt like a machete was sticking out of my chest. And I'm still on the table in the cath lab. He still hasn't even gone into my heart yet. And finally, he was a little apprehensive, but he pushed the catheter through. Luckily, he was able to put the stent in, pull the cath out, and my heart continued on its own. Like, they sent me home with like a week's worth of medicine, and finally, the government went through, and I got the Medicaid assistance I needed for medications. Now, I had worked my whole life, paid into, Social Security, all this stuff, so I should get a little something back. So they paid for my medications now, and it's been, let's see, that was November of 16, and we're in March of 18. They have gone in, and they did the cath again just to take a look at my heart. They pumped dye through the arteries, and you get to watch it on the live x-ray. You actually get to watch your heart beating and the blood pumping through. And there is some thinning. There's scar tissue, of course. My heart took quite a bit of damage from 5 heart attacks in a year. But so far, my heart's okay. Now they say there's something wrong with my large intestines. I can't win. Now I have to be checked for cancer. Obviously with the colon, your large intestine is your colon, same damn thing. There's a lot they can do if there's problems with it. So now it's just waiting for the damn appointment. The doctor's so booked, I can't get in until the 26th of April. So we're trying to rush the appointment through. But in the interim, this is where I'm at. I'm pretty limited in what I'm allowed to do right now, just because they don't want me to push it too far, and because it does hurt. So, and of course, you got all the people in the world who have ruined it for those of us that actually need pain medicine. Now doctors are afraid to write pain medicine. I've got my left arm took nerve damage from the heart attacks because it was without blood for so long. And, now I got this, and doctors don't even want to help. So I'm stuck fighting the pain 24/7. I didn't do it. I wasn't the one that was shooting up heroin all the time. I've done my share of stuff. Don't get me wrong. But I didn't ruin it for me. So why do I have to suffer? This is yet another thing I'm trying to get cleared up. I'm lobbying towards getting the medical society to realize that people really do need help. They do need these medicines. Just control it more. Help get rid of the doctors that are too friendly with their prescriptions. And even if you have to make a person come in every week to get their medicine, whatever it takes, there are people that need the help. So that's where my health is right now. I appreciate you listening. Stay safe. If you start feeling, here's the thing. Anybody can have a heart attack. Anybody. It doesn't matter how healthy you are. It's just a fact of life. And a heart attack really is a clogged artery in the heart. That's completely different from cardiac arrest, which obviously means your heart stopped. A heart attack is because the blood cannot flow through the heart properly. So get checked. There is a CAT scan out there now that can be done where it costs your insurance $300. You get scanned. They see whether or not there's clogs in the heart. If so, then you got steps you can do. You can try to change your diet, or they can go in and put a stent in as a preemptive measure. But this is very important, guys. Men 35 to 45 are the most likely to have a heart attack. I didn't know this. I had no clue until my cardiologist explained all this to me. So get checked. Go make an appointment. What does it hurt? Get checked. You have no idea. You can be sitting here right now with perfectly clear arteries or have a 90% blocked artery and still feel fine. But tomorrow, that last 10%, for whatever reason, can collapse. And you're on the floor. And most people don't survive a heart attack in the LAD. They were blown away that I survived 5 of them. I mean, I've been through so much in my life. I've been hit by cars. I've been stabbed. I've had my teeth broken out. I've had so many things done. And somehow I still managed to survive 5 heart attacks in a year. So just get checked. Women too, but especially men in that age range, and especially if you're not healthy living. Ask your doctor about it. Watch the documentary on YouTube. Like I said, it's called The Widowmaker. It talks all about the history of stents, and it talks about the LAD, and it talks about that scan that I'm talking about. Can't remember the name of the scan, I'm sorry. But look it up. Get checked, make an appointment. Don't end up like me. I mean, I've died. I've literally died. I don't want to die again. I have 3 beautiful children I'd like to be around for. But, I mean, it has affected so much of my life. And I just wish I could go back and change it, but I can't. So hopefully I can help you from getting to that stage. Alright, well, again, thanks for listening, and subscribe if you feel like it. I appreciate it if you do. If not, I understand. Thank you.